We go to the next one, 90. Kata dino viso kasa. Pipa mutasa sambahi. Sambagatan pahi nasa. Pari laho na vijati. Okay, so I think this one I don't have MV translation. I still have. For him, we refer as a arahat, whose journey is ended. I mean, when your arahat come to the end of his life, who is free. I mean, arahat, for him, unlike other laymen or monk, is free from sorrow, from all, that means, at the gates, kanda at the gates, which has destroyed all fetters. That means he has destroyed all the fetters, and there's no more distress. Okay? So we're going to look through word by word. I mean, an arahat, whose journey is ended, coming to them, is free from sorrow and from all this called arrogates, and who has destroyed all fetters and has no more desire. So keyword like this, kata linho, that means it's a journey to end. Here the journey means a round of birth. So you see all these words can represent another meaning. That means for this journey, maybe it's a samsara cycle. Next one is this samagantana pahisanasa. I mean, this word means one who has destroyed all fetters. So when you see this long word, it means destroy all fetters. And here fetter means greed, ill will, and wrong view. I mean all these things. So keywords here, remember, this is the journey end of samsara. And this one is mean destroy all the fetters. Okay? So this was MB. So Gotahina means end of journey. Visokasa, I mean soulless. I mean no more sorrow. So that means with the journey finished and sorrowless, or you can say with the samsara life end, there will be no more sorrow. Okay? Here he never give anything about Vipu Tasa. And then Sambagi means all things. I think should be free. Vipu Mutasa should be free. From everything completely free. So that means when he has come to the end of his samsara, he will be soullessness and free from everything. So as you know this word, samatapathinasa means have totally free himself from all bonds. All that. One who has loosened all ties or all the fetters. Okay? So Arahant is one who has cut off all the fetters. Parihalaho na vijati. So this word parilaho means anxiety. So there's no more anxiety to happen. So passion, I mean here it says passion fever is not found. So that means there is no more such thing as all the laymen are tainted with all these. So Arahant is free from everything. The fetters all have been cut off. So totally he's free like a bird, can fly wherever he has. So basically, verse 90, you have to remember this keyword. Gota Nina means end of the samsara or end of the journey. And then Vipat Musa and all things, free from all things. And then Tapanisa, Nasa. All these are the fetters. All the fetters all have been cut off. So there's no more anxiety to worry. So this is a story line about verse 90. It said, this was asked by Jivika. Jivika is the, I think, physician for the Buddha. So while residing at the Mango Grove Monastery of Jivaka, the Buddha uttered this verse 90 of this book with reference to the question raised by Jivika to the Buddha. Devadatta, on one occasion, the cousin, tried to kill the Buddha by pushing a big rock from the peak of Iha Kuta mountain, the vulture peak. So this mountain rock struck the ledge on the side of the mountain, and a splinter, the broken piece from the rock, struck the big toe of the Buddha. So our Buddha was taken to the Mango Grove Monastery of Jivika. There, Jivika, the physician, the renowned physician from the king, attended on the Buddha, and he put some medicine on the toe of the Buddha and bandaged it. So Jivaka then left to see another patient in town, but promised to return and remove the bandage in the evening. So when Jivaka returned that night, the city gates were already closed, and he could not come to see the Buddha that night. So he was very upset, and because if the bandage was not removed in time, the whole body would become very hot, and the Buddha could be very ill. So that's a worry of this physician. So just after this time, the Buddha asked Tera Ananda to remove the bandage from the big toe and found that the wound was completely healed. So Jivaka came to the monastery next morning and asked the Buddha whether he felt great pain and distress the previous night. So the Buddha said, Jivaka, ever since I attained Buddhahood, there has been no pain and distress for me. Because our Buddha is a kind of person that are free from all this human suffering. So to him, even a wound or no wound is still no pain to him. So when the Buddha spoke in the verse as follows, he said, for him, who is an Arahant, whose journey is ended, who is free from sorrow and from all, that means arrogates, and destroy all fetters, there's no more distress. So he has no worry as an Arahant. Arahant is not worry. He lived until the end of his life. At the end of the discourse, many attain Sotapatti fusion. So this occasion about Jivika attending our Buddha. Okay? So this storyline 90 is about an Arahat that has no so-called attachment to all the layman problem. So remember all these keywords, end of samsara or end of the journey. And this one, Sambatanasa, is the end of all factors. Okay? And this one, no anxiety. So, with this interpretation, I hope you all gain something to look at the verse. Don't just simply give up. Sometimes very unlucky. You have very little choice. Sometimes not 10 questions, 8 questions. If you cannot answer a few other, you have to attempt the Dhammapada too. So we will listen to the next verse, the chanting. So okay, you all remember all these keywords. It will help you to remember the rest of the verse. We go to the next one, verse 92. Yasam sani chayo nati ye parina tabo jana sunato animito cha avimoko yesam gocharo akesava sakut nam gati tesam duranaya. So this verse 90 and 92 is talking about all arahats, what arahats are performing. So here say, arahats do not hoard, I mean do not keep anything, ropes, food, everything, there are no extra, especially rope only 3 pieces. So when taking food, they reflect well over it in accordance with the three parinas. I mean, when you're eating, they taking food is to sustain the body. It's not for other thing, for enjoyment. Like layman, I want all kind of seafood, live one, kill so it's fresh and tasty to me. And then what kind of meat cooked to the best taste that can make me happy. So to the monk, food is a necessity or the essence for keeping the body alive. So they have all this sort of thinking unlike worldly men. They have as their object liberation from the existence. So important thing is that they eat to sustain for the living. So they are waiting for the liberation from this existence. That is Nibbana, which is void and sightless. I mean, Nibbana has no, there's nothing five senses can describe about it. Okay, Nibbana is void and sightless, and their destination, like the cause of birth in the air, cannot be traced. So it's comparable to the bird flying and then where they go you cannot be traced. Okay, so basically this story 90 is about Arahat also. The description what an Arahat will perform. So we look into the verse broken into each sentence, broken each word, and then we understand and try to grasp as much information from here. So important word Sani Chayo. So Sani Chayo means hoarding. So when you see Sani Chayo, it means hoarding. Okay. According to the commentary, it means accumulating either karma and effect on any of the four requisites. That means a monk in the early Buddhism, you need clothing, you need the three robes, you need the food, you need the medicine, and need a place to stay. The place to stay can be of early is on forests or caves. Later then he has start building temple. So basically a monk just have to live enough with these four essential. About modern monk, I don't know. Okay, so basically you go and see for yourself whether this monk is practicing of this kind. Okay, if they really practice this kind of monk, we have pay reverence to them because their strict discipline is of worthy for us to measure and live up to it. Even us, we have to live with contentment with, like the monk, not requiring more than we want. So four requisite is the basic in early Buddhism, where a monk should hold it until today. If a monk, I wouldn't want to comment too much. If you require more than this, questionable. As a Buddhist scholar, you all should reflect on it. Then, Panitam Bojana. Okay, this word. Paritanobhanjana means to take food according to the three parinas. According to the commentary, there are three parinas that bhikkhu should have concerning about food. What are they? Here is stated here. Nata parina, knowing the exact nature of food being taken. So basically a monk take food is to survive. Without food, the body will break down. So he has to consume food for his body to carry on practicing. Okay? Not for enjoyment. And then the second for this so-called parinas is Thira parina, being convinced of the violence of material food. I mean, the food, not like we all, amen, must be of this nature, of how good, how fantastic, how sweet we cook. To a monk, food is just to sustain. Whatever you cook to them, they can eat. Okay? So, unlike we all, we have to put extra sauce, extra what, extra this, extra way of doing it. Okay? One more thing, no raw meat or raw fish offered to monk. Please remember that. You layman can take, but monk all must have cooked food. This is a Vinaya rule. And then third one.
Sorry, dry out. Meaning
Yeah.
they cannot take sushi lah.
Cannot. You take you helping him to commit Vinaya rule, break the Vinaya rule. You kena, he also kena. Okay? Don't anyhow say don't know. You study before.
They will not take law, they know themselves because we may not know.
They should know because monk are very particular one, especially Theravada monk. If they don't know something wrong. Then next one Pahana parina, and rejection of all pressure in work in eating. I mean, we laymen terrible our laymen, especially China people they like to put the food on fire or ice cold the smoke the ice coming out all these are also pressure of the food so this cannot be offered to monk. The monk just want to eat the food and to sustain the body. So monk if you are mindful one you will not be taking all this kind of pressure in enjoying the food or must be curry so monk when you offer anything you should take you cannot say I want curry only. Okay, and this, you all should know I mean you don't help monk to break the Vinaya rules so monk will take anything that's offered to them but be careful when you offer to Burmese monk the Pak Ao one Pak Ao I think you also know they take vegetarian no meat and quite a number of things they very subjective one like once I offer morning I could not get much so offer the bread so anything that got meat inside stuff inside they totally reject it okay so be mindful of what the best is to ask them are they vegetarian or anything okay so next one sunata this sunata very significant role especially in Mahayana. It's called the void. So according to commentary, it means void of craving is an epithet of nibbana. I mean, here it doesn't mean void in Mahayana. It's a way of explaining you burn off all your craving. There's no more craving of it. Okay, so if you go and study Mahayana, there are a lot of contradicting things which our Theravada we put it in this way, but they make it into so fantastic. Okay? So that is for later if you want to continue further study. Next one, Animitam, the signless. According to commentary, it means no sign of craving, ill will, and ignorant. It's also an epithet of this Nibbana. So when it reaches Nibbana, you should have this Sunatta and Animitam. Okay? Then the next one, another term, Vimoko, liberation from existence. That means it's attained Nibbana. Okay, so all these words down here, you have to take note of it if you want to ever come to this verse 92. Gati tesam dura naya. Okay, here the destination cannot be traced because Arahat have eradicated the craving and are no more subject to rebirth. Okay, this one. So this term means no more rebirth. So the storyline about this verse 92, the story of Tera Bela Ta Sisa. So while residing at the Jetavana monastery, the Buddha uttered this verse 92 with reference to this Tela Bela Ta Sisa. Tela Bala Ta Sisa, after going on the alms round in the village, stopped on the way and took his food there. So after meal, he continued his round of alms for more food. When he had collected enough food, he returned to the monastery, dried up the rice and hoarded. I mean, he keep the rice and then dry it and then put it and store it. And thus, there was no need for him to go for the next alms round every day. So he then remained in the jhana concentration for 2 or 3 days. He has a reason behind it. That means he wouldn't want to go for every alms round every morning. So he stored food, which is wrong. So other bhikkhus thought ill of the Thera on this account and reported to the Buddha about his hoarding of rice. Since then, the hoarding of food by bhikkhus has been prohibited. So Buddha created Vinaya rules is according to the requirement, the fault that committed. That's why he put it, there's no storing of food when he found that particular bhikkhu commit this wrongdoing. So as for Tera Bela Tasisa, once since he stored up the food before ruling on the hoarding was made because he did not out of greed for food. He for different reason. He is not for the greedy of food, but to practice so that he can have more time on practicing rather than on alms round. But only to save time for meditation practice. Thus the Buddha declared that Thera was quite innocent and he was not to be blamed or punished. So the very first monk who committed this wrong and later found to be wrong and the Vinaya rules start to implement the first who commit no wrong it's only after that the next one who commit this hoarding of food will have break this Vinaya rules. Okay, that's how Buddha started his Vinaya rule by the necessity, okay, of the mass requirement. So basically, the arahats do not hoard anything. When taking food, they reflect well over. That is in accordance to the 3 parinas, as we mentioned. They have as their object liberation from existence. That is Nibbana, which is void and signless. Their destination, like the cause of birth in the air, cannot be traced. Thus, this was about the verse 92. So all these reference word, please, if you want to attempt this, please have a good feel of it and have a good understanding of what it means. So when you come out this verse, they will come out in Pali, then explain it, and then the ethical values of eating this verse 92. So before go further, please listen to the next verse. Okay, so we complete verse 92. Okay, next one, verse 97. Asado akatanu cha, sandi che hido cha yo naru. Hatta vakaso vataso, save utam paru riso. Literally translated is he, normally refer Arahant, he who is not credulous, that means not greedy, or lot of craving one, who has realized the unconditioned, that means nibbana, who has cut off the links of the round of rebirth, who has destroyed all the consequences of good and bad deeds, who has discarded all craving, is indeed the noblest of all men. There is an Arahat. Okay? Basically, it says, he who is not credulous means greedy. He who has realized the unconditioned, who has cut off the links of the round of rebirth, and has destroyed all the consequences of good and bad deeds, and who has discarded all craving, is indeed the noblest of all men. So, keyword, vanataso. Vanataso, one who has discarded all craving. I mean, one who has cut off from all the greed. So now you break down into each word. Asado means not believing, false view. Akanucha means aware of unconditioned nibbana. So if you want to translate this word by word, I mean with no belief, that means there's no false view. With no belief, the unmade known. And you're talking about the nibbana. I mean you have no false view, you were able to know this thing called nibbana. Sachi jedo vacha yo naru. I mean sati jedo cha. I mean severe all connection. I mean you are cut off from all the factors. There's a word for this sandi jedo. Yo naru. Naru, you know, is a person. So it's a person. So that's why I told you, if you want to go and make into word by word translation, the sentence will be very, very awkward. With factors finally severe. I mean, a person who has no more false belief or false view, then his factors been cut off, then he will realize this, he will know this term called unmade or what I call Nibbana. So if you translate word by word, it's pretty difficult to form a proper sentence. Hatavakaso, having destroyed all opportunities. I mean, he's going for rebirth. Yantas Vantaso, means having given up all desire, I mean all the factors. So with the karma cut and craving shed, I mean cut off from all factors. Save, sa means he, ve means without any doubt. Uttam paruso is a noble person. So uttam paruso is a noble person. So with this, all this craving cut off, you attain the humanity heights. I mean, towards the Dhamma. Okay, basically, if you want to put to proper sentence, it's of this nature. He who is not careless, that means no more craving, who has realized the unconditioned, that means he cut off, he realized Dhamma, and he cut off links with a round of rebirth. That means no more coming back for rebirth, and I destroy all the consequence of good and evil deeds. That means he has pulled out all the 6 roots, even the good roots and the evil roots all have been uprooted, and has discarded all craving as indeed the noblest of all men. That means he become an arahat. So basically, he's talking about this scenario. Okay, may be hard for you to digest now, so please go and know all these keywords. Okay, keyword. Asado, akamatu, then sandi che docha, that means severe all connection, and hatha vaso, that means going for rebirth. I mean having no more rebirth, having no more rebirth for giving up all the desire. Okay, so basically you see some other translation is more very forward kind of translation. So we will see about that later. So there's a storyline behind this verse 97. The story of Tera Sariputta. While residing at Jetavana Monastery, the Buddha uttered this verse with reference to this Tera Sariputta. 30 bhikkhus, monks from the village, and arrived at Jetavana Monastery to pay homage to the Buddha. The Buddha knew that the time was ripe for those monks to attain arahatship. So he sent for Sariputta, and in presence of those monks, he asked, "My son Sariputta, do you accept the fact that by meditating on the senses, one could realize Nibbana?" And then this is a question posed to Sariputta. So Sariputta answered, "Venerable sir, in the matter of realization of Nibbana by meditating on senses, it's not that I accept it because I have faith in you." Because he said he don't accept it, but because he has faith in the Buddha. It's only those who have not personally realized it and they accept the fact from others. That means some people who have not personally going through just blindly accept it. Sariputta answer was that not properly understood by the bhikkhus. They thought Sariputta has not given up wrong views. Even now, he has no faith in the Buddha. So these other monks misunderstood what Sariputta said. Then our Buddha explained to them the true meaning of Sariputta answer. Bhikkhus, Sariputta answer is simply that he accepts the fact that Nibbana is realized by means of meditating on the senses, but his acceptance is due to his own personal realization. That means his way of understanding it, and not merely because I've said it or somebody else has said it. So Sariputta has a faith in me, he also has a faith in the consequence of good and evil deeds. So that is a question posed by Buddha when he answered the other monks. Then Buddha spoke the verse as follows. He who is not credulous, that means who is not greedy, who has realized this Nibbana, who has cut off the link of the round of rebirth, that means he has no more coming back, who has destroyed all the consequence of good and evil deeds, and has discarded the craving, is indeed the noblest of all men. That's Arahat. At the end of this discourse, all those bhikkhu attain hardship. So you see, this is the way Buddha handle monks who misinterpret Sariputta answer. Okay, so this is for verse 97. So we'll go to, so remember all these keyword if you come across this verse 97. Okay, all these keywords will help you to interpret what is the verse is about. Okay, just listen to the something again. So okay, we will move to the next verse. Verse 112. Yocha vasa tam jevi. Gusito hina virio. Ekam jevitam seyo. Viriya mahara bato daham. So here literally translated as better than 100 years of life, a person who is idle and inactive. It's a life of one who make a zealous and strenuous effort in tranquility and insight development practice. So that means to say, if you live a life of 100 years and you are so-called idling or not practicing at all, then rather than one who practice a single day with too heartily to attain so-called meditation in development of samatha and vipassana. Okay, so it's compared to a person who never practiced meditation and a person who has practiced right to the in-depth meditation. So keyword usito, I mean either person. So according to the commentary, either person is one who passes his time only in evil thoughts. These are layman people who never think of their so-called liberation or their coming next life. They prefer to, like worldly men, enjoy all the five senses and pass his time until his last day. Okay, so this one also from MB is also break down into individual word. Yocha means individual. Vasatam, that means 100 years. Okay, and then JV is where to live. So to one should live 100 years. Basically, literally translated as one who live up to 100 years. Kusito means lazy. Hina virio, without initiative and lethargic. You live without any aims. And then you just pass through your day lazily. So lazy with little effort. Literally means that. So if one live 100 years with
Brother Lau,
lazy, yeah.
this is verse 112. I thought it's 103.
I mean I copy wrongly again. 112 leh.
Oh, 112, not 113. Oh, okay. 112.
You also
Okay.
get lost. I also okay, correct. So one who live 100 years with lazy attitude and no practicing compared to one person ekam means even one day ekam vitam seyo, even one day who's a noble kind who practice earnestly so one who is better in life or single, that means one who practice earnestly for one day Viriya means effort you all know already Rahato means develop Daham, I mean full of so-called in here is this kind of meditation. That means the one person who live one day and making strong effort to practice this called meditation well. Basically said one who live 100 years without practice and one who one day who able earnestly and practice this meditation. Okay, making effort. So basically this 112 is to pair a lazy person and a hardworking person in one day. So the storyline is like this. At the Jetavana monastery, a monk was not happy with life there and felt that it was improper and humiliating to return to the life of a house. I mean, Jetavana monk who was not happy with this life, then felt that it was improper and humiliating to return to the life of a householder. I mean, he felt no face to go back and I mean we disrobe and become householder. He thought that it was better to die so he can put his hand into a pot where there is a snake. It did not bite him as in the past experience it was his slave. So he want to kill himself because it's shameful to return back to a householder. So he put his hand into the so-called the where the snake is, but the snake never bite him. Because this snake was his slave. Then he tried to cut his throat with a razor. And razor blade, he tried to cut his throat. But at the moment, he reflected on the purity of morality practiced in his life as a monk. And his whole body has suffused with delight, satisfaction, and piti and bliss, sukha. And consequently, he direct his mind to the development of insight knowledge and soon attained arahantship. And he returned back to the monastery. On his return to the monastery, he explained to other monks that what happened and why he took the knife with him. And he said, I originally intended to cut my throat with this knife, but I now cut off all the moral defilement with the knife of insight knowledge. So in the doubt, they asked the Buddha what was really possible to attain Arahat Magat within such a short time. So all these monks are curious. So he replied, Monk, yes, it's possible for one who is zealous and strenuous at the practice of tranquility and insight development, arahantship, and can be attained in an instant. As the monk walks in meditation, he can attain arahantship even before his raised foot touches the ground. I mean, you can see here, early state, this particular monk was very unhappy with his life because he felt no meaning of it. So then he's shameful to return to household life. So he think of killing, commit suicide. But when he want to try to cut his throat, that moment, you see, the instant change his personality totally, his mindset. And then he really practice well, and then with that, he become towards the arahat kind of practicing, that he found that he did a wrong thing, and then with this insight, he really, at that particular moment, he changed himself 180 degrees. Okay, this is why, like Anguimala also, remember the monk that killed so many previous person, and he also at the moment become an arahat because of all this, that very moment that switch his mind. So for us, human, we have to make our mind. So it can be good, it can be bad for yourself. So you have to maintain your so-called fixed mind, that you want to change it intent. So you can see this moment, from committing suicide to become an arahantship. You see? So fantastic. So when you talk about Buddhism, it's about mindset. So your mindset is set, very hard for you to go back. So this monk was a blessed. So Buddha give him example, such a person is able to attain the right path at the slightest particular moment that can change him overnight. Okay, so this is verse 112. Okay, so we listen to the chanting. Okay, now we come to the complementary, the opposite of this. Verse 113. Yoca vasatam jevi, apasam udaya bayam, ekam jevitam seyo, pasato uda bayam. So here he said, better than 100 years alive, a person who does not perceive the arising and the dissolving of the five aggregates. I'm talking about five aggregates, the khandhas. It's a day of life of one who perceives the rising and dissolving of the five aggregates. Okay? So here talking about better than 100 years alive person who does not perceive. That means 100 years, he not even go and understand the arising and dissolving of the five aggregates. Then when a person is one day in a life who perceive the rising and dissolving of the five aggregates. Example, our Ananda on the eve of this so-called the Buddhist council, he been practicing very long, but within a day, he become an arahant, so he can attend the Buddhist council. So this is a wonder of mindset. So for this, you have to know keyword, udayabayam. Udabayam means arising and the dissolving of the five aggregates. Udabayana is a knowledge acquired to the insight development practice. That means practice of vipassana to understand the five aggregates, indicating the impermanent characteristic of the five aggregates. So that's why you coming towards practicing, you still need to go for this so-called vipassana, because that's the only thing you can realize your body is totally impermanent. Okay, here is another breakdown of individual word. Yocha means an individual. Pasata means 100 years. Jevi means where to live. So if to live up to 100 years. And apasam means does not see. Udabayam, the rise and fall, rise and decline. They mean the aggregates. So if one live 100 years without understanding the aggregates of rising and falling, if compare to ekam ham, even a person with 1 day life, Jevitam Sayo is a noble person. So it's better, it's a life for a single day for such a noble person. Pasato, Pasato means he who sees. Uda Bayam, the rise and decline. He who see in 1 day of rise and fall is so much greater than one who live 100 years without seeing the aggregates. Basically, 113 is the complementary of this 112. 112 is the 100 years who is lazy, without making any effort. And the other one is one who live 100 years of not seeing the rise and fall aggregates. Okay, so all these keywords, if you remember, especially this repetition of both here, so you can see it's not difficult to translate this verse, and then you give the meaning of the ethical value behind here. So there's a storyline behind this verse 113. The story of Teri Patachara is a bhikkhuni. While residing at the Jetavana monastery, the Buddha uttered the verse of this book with reference to Patachara. Patachara was a daughter of a rich man from Savatthi. She was very beautiful and was guarded very strictly by her parents. But one day, she eloped run away with a young male attendant of the family and went to live in the village as a poor man's wife. In due course, she became pregnant, and as time for the confinement drew near, she asked permission from her husband to return to her parents in Savatthi. But her husband discouraged her. So one day, while her husband was away, she set out for the home journey of her parents. So her husband followed her and caught up with her on the way and pleaded her to return with him. But she refuses, and so happened that as her time was drawing so near, she had to give birth to a son in one of the bushes. So she can't reach the hometown, so she gave birth halfway. So after birth, her son, she returned home with her husband. Then she was again with child, and at the same time for confinement drew near, taking her son with her, she began set for the home of her parents. So she was second birth. Her husband followed her and caught up with her on the way. But her time for delivery was coming very fast, and it was raining hard. So the husband looked for a suitable place for confinement, and while he was clearing a little patch of land, he was bitten by a poisonous snake and died instantaneously. So Patachara waited for her husband, and while waiting for his return, she gave birth to a second son. So in the morning, she searched for her husband, but only found his dead body. Saying to herself that her husband died on account of her, she continued her way to the parents. Because it had rained incessantly the whole night, the river Achiravati was in spate, so it was not possible for her to cross the river carrying both her sons. So leaving the elder son on the side of the river, she crossed the stream with a day-old son and left him on the other bank. She then came back for the elder boy. While she was still in the middle of the river, a large hawk hover over the young child, taking it for a piece of meat. She shouted to frighten away the bird, but it was all in vain, and the child was carried away by the hawk. Meanwhile, the elder son heard his mother shouting from the middle of the stream and thought that she was calling out to him to come to her. So she entered the stream to go to the mother and was carried away by the strong current. So thus, Patachara lost her two sons as well as her husband. As a result, she wept and lamented loudly. A son is carried away by a hawk, another is carried away by the current. And then my husband was dead and bitten by a poisonous snake. Then she saw a man from Savatthi, and she tearfully asked after her parents. The man replied that due to the violent storm in Savatthi the previous night, the house of her parents had fallen down, and both her parents, together with the three brothers, had died and had been cremated on one funeral pyre. On hearing this tragic news, Patachara went stark mad. She did not even notice that her clothes had fallen from her and she was half naked. She went about the street shouting out her woes, all her problems. So while Buddha was giving a discourse at the Jetavana monastery, he saw Patachara at a distance. So he willed her that she would come to the congregation. So the crowd, seeing her coming, tried to stop her, saying, "Don't let the mad woman come in." But the Buddha told them not to prevent her coming. So when Patachara was close enough to hear him, he told her to be careful and keep calm. Then she realized that she did not have her skirt on and shamelessly sat down. Somebody gave her a piece of cloth and she wrapped herself up, and she then told the Buddha that she had lost her son, her husband, her brothers, and her parents. So the Buddha told her, "Patachara, have no fear. You have come to one who can protect you and guide you throughout this wrong existence." I mean, this samsara, the amount of years, tears you have shed in account of the death of your sons, husband, parents, and brother is voluminous. I mean, cannot be counted. It's even more than the water of the four oceans. Thus, the Buddha expounded the Anamaktaga Sutta, which dealt with countless existence, and she felt relief. Then the Buddha added that one should not think too much about those who have gone, but that one should purify oneself and strive to realize Nibbana. On hearing this exhortation, the Buddha Patacha attained the Sotapaddi position. This, I think, is a common story you have heard before. Then Patachara became a bhikkhuni. So one day she was clearing her feet with water from a water pot, and she poured the water for the first time, and it flowed only a short distance and disappeared. Then she poured for a second time, and the water went a little bit further, but the water she poured for the third time went the furthest. So as she looked at the flow and the disappearance of water poured out successively or three times, she came to perceive clearly that the three stages of life of beings, the Buddha, seeing her through the supernatural power from the Jetavana monastery, sent forth his radiance and appeared to her in person. He then said to her, "Patachara, you are now in the right track, and you now have the true perception of the aggregates, and one who does not perceive the impermanent and unsatisfactional, insubstantial of aggregates is useless, even if he were to live 100 years." Okay? Then the Buddha spoke of this verse. Better than 100 years in life, a person who does not perceive the arising and dissolving of the five aggregates is a day of life of one who perceives the arising and dissolving of the five aggregates. So upon completing this discourse, Patachara attained arahatship. So basically this verse is the convincing of Patachara from a layman to one who become a bhikkhuni and able to get enlightened herself. Right? So basically 113 is about this. so-called moral story of this. Okay, so too bad lah. You all have to remember all these terms. Apasan, pasato, ubadavayam. Okay, and then explain on the morality of this, ethical value of this Dhammapada. So we listen to this verse. It's the complementary of the earlier one.
You